Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for being here today. Show you registered as Tyler Smith on behalf of Chamber of Progress, testifying neutrally today. Is that correct?
Correct.
Great. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Tyler Smith. I'm the Director of State and Local Government Affairs for Chamber of Progress. Center-Left Tech Industry Association focused on the progressive future of tech. Some of our partners include companies like Amazon, Meta, Google, and Twitter, yet none of them have a vote or a veto on any of our positions. We agree that retail theft remains a problem, but with respect to informed type bills, that's not the solution that we think is the best option for states. These type of bills have been now rejected by more than 15 state legislators and on a bipartisan basis. It's unnecessary now that big box retailers and online marketplaces have endorsed the federal legislation. Informed type legislation would make online sellers collateral damage in Walmart's battle against Amazon. This bill represents an effort for Walmart and other big box retailers to hurt their biggest competitor, Amazon, under the false pretext of eliminating a small number of bad people from selling counterfeit and stolen goods online. In reality, the marketplace giants are trying to stifle healthy competition that would ultimately hurt Etsy artisan, eBay sellers, and other online market businesses. According to an article recently in The Atlantic, bills like SB 470 will ultimately help Walmart by weakening the competitive advantage of large-scale online shopping platforms, whose success is a much larger existential threat to their bottom line than thieves ever can be. It's an overreaction to an exaggerated problem with considerable collateral damage. And at least 15 states have rejected these types of bills, prioritizing the needs of online entrepreneurs and consumer choices. Legislators in Republican and Democratic-led states agree. This legislation would add additional obstacles that would ultimately hurt small sellers, decrease opportunity, increase red tape, and hinder consumers in search of a deal. We agree that a federal compromise version of this bill has already been endorsed by both retailers and leading online marketplaces, making this type of legislation unnecessary. Due to the changes that the bill sponsors made to address the concerns of small online sellers, marketplaces, the new legislation is now supported by both retail groups such as Retail Industry Association and the Buy Safe America Coalition, as well as Etsy and eBay, as well as Amazon. The consensus approach reflected in a new version of this legislation represents the best model of tackling the issue without harming small online sellers. In sum, this legislation would hurt small online sellers, decrease opportunity, increase government red tape, and hinder consumers in search of a deal, all in order for Walmart to score a few points against Amazon. And it won't stop the bad guys who will surely adapt to new rules that state Inform Act bills pose. That's not to say policymakers should ignore online counterfeiting. Instead of this approach, you should incentivize marketplaces to proactively police sellers, direct platforms to work with law enforcement and consumer protection officials in bringing in bad actors to justice, and encourage marketplaces to collaborate so that bad actors can't move from one marketplace to another. We welcome the community's questions, and I'm open to all questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your testimony. So you mentioned SB 470. What is that?
SB 470 is the Arkansas Inform Act bill that passed. It's Walmart's home state, and they passed Inform Act bills that has a lot of data privacy issues for small online sellers.
I see. Okay. I mean, just for the record, we don't have any specific legislation in front of us.
Correct.
We're just exploring the issue. But with respect to the Federal Inform Act, does your organization support the Federal Inform Act?
Yes, we support the Federal Inform Act.
Okay. All right. Chairman Kane.
Mr. Smith, I've got to admit it that, based on the organization that you represent, I was kind of, and having, I guess been, personally, right, discussed by the organization, amicus briefs and things being criticized by Chamber of Progress, I was thinking you guys were coming in here, probably to agree with this bill. And instead, I was pleasantly, surprised to hear your well-explained, opposition to it. While I think I prefer the task force model, I certainly could sympathize with your belief that we shouldn't have this unfair competition, and that in reality, what it seems like these state bills are is actually a feud between two giant corporations, and they're not really in the best interest of businesses. So I say that just to compliment you. Literally, I was like, man, Progress Chamber, gosh. I was like, I know what they're going to say. Like, totally opposite thing. So probably should keep my mouth shut, but it was really bright. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
questions?